Hi everybody, I'm Marky Ramone, and you're listening to and watching Liga No Mos.
E aí pessoal, hoje mais um Se Liga No Mos, justamente com nada mais nada menos que o Marky Ramone. Para quem não conhece sua história, vai conhecer agora. Mark, como foi que surgiu a ideia de fazer um Marky Ramone em Blitzkrieg, junto com o Michael Graves?
Well, we knew each other for years, and Michael liked the Ramones songs, and it was good that he came on board because he did it his way. And he already was an entertainer, frontman, and writer. So I was very happy to have him on board. And then we started rehearsing and it clicked, it gelled. So that was the most important thing. And Michael has his own career as a solo artist too. So, you know, he constantly tours, I constantly tour, we play together occasionally. But it's always a lot of fun because he has the experience, and that's very important.
O pessoal conhecer um pouco da história, muita gente não sabe, mas você foi um dos membros da maior banda de hard rock dos anos 70, que se chamava Dust. Como foi formar o Dust e como foi você tocar e gravar um disco com 15 anos de idade, sendo que esse disco foi um dos maiores e melhores discos do hard rock dos anos 70?
Well, we were in high school and we weren't doing good in school, so we decided to form a band, and we were in our first year of high school, and it was a three-piece group. In England there was metal bands, Black Sabbath, there was Led Zeppelin, who were really a hard rock band with blues influence. But America hardly had any metal bands. So we had all this material written before Black Sabbath album came out in America. So we decided to look for a record deal, and we got one. And we were able to do 2 albums, and we were one of the top 3 or 4 heavy metal bands in America. So that's what I was playing at the time. There was no punk yet. So, you know, we're talking 70, 71, around there. So we rehearsed a lot, had our own material, and then we produced it ourselves, and that was it. And I just was just remastered, both of them, and now they're out again on CD, all redone, better sound, and that's what I was doing at that age in high school. I hardly went to school.
Existe alguma possibilidade do Dust fazer uma turnê comemorativa junto com o Kenny Aronson e Rich Wise?
No Dust reunion. Kenny does his own thing. Richie has his own business. He, it's, you know, I mean, it's a good idea, but to do something you did at 16, it's a nice idea, but that's not what I play anymore. I was into metal when I was a young teenager. I grew out of it. I started hanging around in New York, and then I met Jan County, Richard Hell, and the Ramones. And I'm not saying one music is better than the other, but I enjoy playing a groove now instead of all the complicated technical drumming that I was doing. So no, there's not going to be any reunion.
Além das bandas inglesas, como Black Sabbath, Led Zeppelin, houve alguma influência das bandas americanas underground dos anos 60. as bandas de Detroit, como Voidoids, Ted Nugent, Sonics, MC5, Stooges.
Well, we weren't influenced by them. We already had the material written before these bands came to America. We liked them when they came out, I guess 6 months after all our stuff was written. Dust, really, we came from Brooklyn, New York, and our influences, the people we liked, were the Beatles. We liked the early Who. We liked the first album. See, those heavy bands weren't out yet. So we had to rely on what we knew and put it all together the American way, not the English way, because we didn't know the English metal scene yet because it didn't hit American shores. In America, you had Blue Cheer that did Summertime Blues, which was one of the first heavy metal songs that I know of, but the recording wasn't good. You couldn't hear the drums well. So we took it upon ourselves to make an album, the first one and second one, a good representative of what was happening in neighborhoods around the United States with what bands were doing.
Sometimes I wonder what I'm gonna do. Lord, there ain't no cure for the summertime blues.
Depois do Dust, de toda essa influência, principalmente você que é do Brooklyn, Nova York, como foi se juntar com o Richard Hell, Johnny Thunders, e como surgiu o Voidoids?
Well, Johnny Thunders and Jerry Nolan were friends of mine. They told me that he just left the Heartbreakers, and he was playing with them. And Richard wanted to go on his own. You know, he had his own vision. So he met me in Max's Kansas City, and we discussed meeting with Ivan Julian and Bob Klein in a rehearsal studio to see if we could go over Blank Generation, the song. So it worked out well. We rehearsed it a few times. Then that was the band, the Voidoids. Ivan came later when he read about it in the paper. We needed a second guitar player. So Ivan joined a little later. So I knew Johnny, Jerry, Richard, Dee Dee before I even joined the Voidoids. So he wanted me to be in the band. So we discussed it and we did the Blank Generation album. And it was the same company that the Ramones were on. So it was all a tight family, you know, with Seymour Stein and the Ramones, Richard Hell, Talking Heads, Steve Bates from the Dead Boys. So it was gonna happen, you know.
Marky, não podíamos deixar de falar, né, velho, sobre como foi a sua entrada no Ramones. Como que surgiu? Qual que foi a ideia? Os caras te chamaram, você tava ali no meio, como que foi? Como que surgiu a ideia de você gravar o primeiro disco com o Ramones?
Well, I knew that the Ramones came to see Dust a few times at a club in the city at the Village Gate. And they were in the audience 4 years before the first Ramones album came out. So they were Dust fans. And I don't remember them being there, but they told me. So they always liked my drumming. So when they saw that I didn't want to play with Richard Hell anymore, because he didn't want to tour, because he was having problems with drugs. So it hindered and stopped him from really touring a lot. But now he's clean and sober. But I wanted to tour. I wanted to play. I wanted to see the world, you know. So I was at CBGB's talking to Hilly Crystal, who ran CBGB's. And then Dee Dee came up to me and asked me if I would play with the Ramones. So I said, well, tell me what's going on. He told me that they didn't want to kick Tommy out. They wanted Tommy to leave because they didn't want it to seem like there was any bad blood within the group, because the Ramones were like brothers. So they waited for Tommy to leave the group, which he did, and gave them a time when he was leaving. So then they asked me to join the group, and they gave me 4 songs that I knew already. And we went to the rehearsal studio, and we did Sheena, Blitzkrieg, Bop, I Don't Care, and Rockaway Beach. And then it was official when we all met, and they decided everything was good. I said, if you agree to what you give me, we'll do it. And that was it. And the next thing I knew, I got the live, a live cassette of their live show, and a rehearsal of Road to Ruin, which was the first album I did. So I had to learn 40 songs in 2 weeks. And then I did a Road to Ruin in the studio, and the first song I recorded was I Want to Be Sedated. And that was it.
Velho, já que a gente tá falando de gravações e da história do Ramones, a gente queria saber, se você puder falar, né? Como foi gravar e se é verdade que o Phil Spector colocava o revólver em cima da mesa de som para que vocês gravassem o End of the Century?
First of all, Phil had 2 guns. He never pointed them at us. He never pointed them. That's all bullshit. That's all stories. John was very intimidated by Phil, so was Dee Dee. Me and Joey and Phil got along like brothers. Phil had to have guns on him to protect himself. He had a license. Sometimes the guns were heavy, so he'd take them off and put them on the studio board. They weren't there to threaten anybody. He just took them off. But they were there, but he never. That's a different story. So those stories that you hear about the guns in the studios is bullshit. The only people that were allowed in the studio during End of the Century was the Ramones, Ed Stasium, and Phil, and Larry Levine. That was it. No roadies, no road managers. They came later to pack the equipment and take us home. That was it. Phil would not let anybody in the studio. So any stories that you hear, you're hearing the truth right here. No guns were pointed at us in the studio.
Jackie is a funk, Judy is a run. They went down to the mud club and they both got drunk. Oh yeah! Whoa.
Pra finalizar, pô, é uma honra estar com o Marky Ramone, conversando sobre todas essas histórias desde 1970 e para ele deixar pro pessoal, pra gente conhecer, pra quem gosta e curte o som do Marky Ramone, quais as influências e o que ele indicaria pra molecadinha de hoje ouvir.
My influences since I was 12 years old, 10 years old, was Hal Blaine, Phil Spector's drummer, Dave Clark from the Day Clark 5, Ringo from the Beatles, Keith Moon from The Who, Mitch Mitchell, Jimi Hendrix, Ginger Baker from Cream, Joe Morello from Dave Brubeck, Buddy Rich, who is the greatest ever. Clive Bunker, the first drummer from Jethro Tull, and I really liked Tony Williams.
this West.
And you put that all together, that's who I like. Now, there's one guy that's really great for what he does. That's the guy from Slayer. Good guy and great drummer for what he does.
Pra finalizar, velho, todos os bateristas que ele falou, Marky Ramone, são os melhores bateristas do mundo, velho.
No. For what I do, maybe, but there's a lot of great drummers in the world for what they do. Everyone has their own style. And mine isn't technical, but I could do technical things. I just keep the beat. That's all I do. And to all the bands that are starting out, that are beginning, try to get your own style, rehearse a lot, stay away from hard drugs. If you're gonna drink, drink socially, don't smoke cigarettes, and believe in yourself. And the only thing I can say is, hey ho, let's go.
Blitzkrieg.